So look at the before and after. This is after. The extent of the damage at Al-Shifa right now. The courtyard has been bulldozed. Buildings are burned in ruins. This is what's left of it right now. And this here is what it looked like before. Gaza's largest medical complex. This was back in October, in the first few days of the war. It was the Strip's most advanced hospital with specialized facilities for pediatrics, ophthalmology, obstetrics, gynecology, etc. Let's talk about this with Dr. Mads Gilbert, Senior Consultant, Professor of Emergency Medicine at the University Hospital of North Norway. You have worked at hospitals in Gaza. You're still in touch with teams on the ground. You're joining us from Tromso, Norway. I wanted to find out first, sir, what information you're getting from the people you know who are in or around Al-Shifa.
Well, good morning. We first got this very alarming report from Dr. Marwan Abusada 2 days ago about 107 critical patients who had been moved to an old part of the Shifa medical complex without water, without any medical supplies, not even having gloves. Very alarming. And then we get this news this morning that the Israeli occupation forces actually have completely destroyed the Shifa medical complex. We do not know as of yet the destiny of the 107 critical patients that were moved 2 days ago and their staff. But what we do know is that the Israeli government and the Israeli occupation forces this night has ended 78 years of brave medical history, because Shifa Hospital, and Shifa means the healing house, the house of healing, was established in 1946 and was the most important flagship hospital for the healthcare for the people of Gaza. My first encounter and work in Shifa was in 1989, and I've been working through all these years with the brave staff and the excellent medical people in Gaza. This is such a sad day. I've been weeping all morning, actually.
So you said we don't know what's become of the 107 patients who were in critical care. Is that right?
Well, we don't know yet what has come of these 107 patients. And I quote from the report from Dr. Marwan Abusada, a senior surgeon in Shifa. He says that most of them are severe cases that have been in the ICU, and 60 of the medical staff have been incarcerated in an old building in the hospital that does not have capacity to host such number of patients and has no equipment, unquote. So nobody knows the fate of these patients. But what we see from the video footage this morning, we see a massive amount of people searching for corpses, for dead ones, for martyrs. And they find the most horrible decomposed corpses with maggots coming out of the eyes, and truly a scene from Dante's Inferno. So to me, I was last time in Gaza, in Shifa, last summer.
Wait, hold on. Can I jump in there? I want to ask you a question. I want to compare what the Israeli military are saying to what you know actually happened in Al-Shifa. The Israeli military say that during their operation, which they say was against Hamas and Islamic Jihad armed fighters, they say that they gradually isolated the patients, moved them out of the fighting zone per se, moved them to another building, and even provided water, food, and some level of medical assistance. I'm assuming medicines, but I don't actually know. Is that consistent with what you're hearing actually happened?
Absolutely not. And the Israelis are known for being the most ardent liars. They lie about everything. So from this report that I'm reading from, the medical doctor says that there is absolutely nothing. They don't even have gloves. They use plastic bags to tend to the infected wounds. And they don't have the needed equipment, nor antibiotics, nor nothing. And it's also a very dramatic report on the negotiator from the medical team in Shifa talking to the Israeli commander. He has to undress to his underwear. Is kept waiting for 2 hours, and the commander comes back with absolutely no answer. So this is a combination of rawness and humiliation that you simply don't do to other people. And you don't do it to sick and wounded people. For heaven's sake, when is this going to stop? And now we hear from Gaza that they are taking on Al-Aqsa Hospital and probably are planning to do the same with Al-Aqsa as they've done now with Shifa. So I'm just asking, where is this world? Where is the world order? And the maggots that are creeping out of the corpses in Shifa Hospital now are really maggots coming out of the eyes of President Biden and the EU leaders doing nothing to stop this horrible, horrible genocide.
Mads, we're looking at the pictures, the very latest pictures of the aftermath, right, of this 2-week siege on Al-Shifa. The buildings are completely burnt out, hollowed out. I see a bridge connecting buildings there that's destroyed. To me, when I look at this, and I'm, of course, no expert on this, it looks to me like this can never be rebuilt. This was Gaza's largest hospital. Do you think in the future this can be used again, or is Al-Shifa gone for good?
Well, I think you're right. I've seen the same videos, and I recognize the skeletons of the buildings, in particular the brand new medical surgical complex to the north of the complex, which was equipped at top level and financed, funded by European countries. Where are they today? I do not think this can be rebuilt. It will be rebuilt because we will rebuild Gaza and Gaza's healthcare. And I think one thing which is, greatly overlooked by the media is that Israel is never held accountable and never has to pay war compensation. This absolutely endless impunity for Israel through 75 years has made them ravage and destroy as much as they like without ever being held accountable, and in particular, not financially accountable. Actually, the state of Israel should be sentenced to rebuild Shifa Hospital and pay the full bill for their destructions. So on one side,
if I can jump in just to provide some context to viewers, because Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, did present a plan that was widely panned, I have to say, a plan for post-war Gaza. Part of his plan was to have rebuilding paid for by the international community and specifically Arab countries. He was rebuffed, but in his vision of it, he would have Gulf countries and Arab countries generally pay for this rebuilding. I just wanted to complete your point there.
Yeah, thank you. And it's showing the cynicism of the Israeli government. I mean, this is a total destruction of civil society in Gaza. This is the politics of elimination, well known from colonial politics all over the world. You kill the indigenous people, you destroy their social fabric and their society, and you take over the land, you grab the land. So this is a politics well known, and it's called actually the politics of elimination. And this destruction of Shifa today is the lowest point till now when it comes to the Israeli occupation army's destruction of hospitals, schools, universities, archaeological sites, archives, museums, everything. And that is part of the,
Yeah, Mads, can I once again get you to, can I confront what the Israeli version of events at Al-Shifa with what you know to have happened with your contacts on the ground? The Israeli military said that they saw a large cluster of armed fighters from Hamas and the Islamic Jihad, and that they were fighting them. And they were trying to sort out patients. This has been a big part of the Israeli narrative on the Al-Shifa medical complex. They were trying to sort out patients from the fighters and target only the fighters. What do you know about who was in the hospital and about that fighting?
What I know from the reports is that there has been fighting around Shifa Hospital. And consider for a moment yourself, if your national, most important flagship hospital was attacked by an invading army who really had the intention of destroying the hospital and killing the people, wouldn't you defend it in the vicinity of the hospital? Wouldn't you think that your army should defend your most important security hospital for the people? Of course they have tried to defend it, but I have not heard any report of fighters inside Shifa Hospital. And don't forget, this is the second siege of Shifa. When they invaded Shifa the first time, they had no proof of any military installations. They didn't find anything. They repeat their lies because they didn't need these lies to attack all the other hospitals in Gaza. You know, out of the 35 hospitals, almost every one of them have been attacked, even without the excuse of being a military command center. So this is a lie. And this is beyond the point, because what they are doing is destroying Palestinian infrastructure, their life and their society. Don't forget that Shifa had 700 beds, And they host, during the peak of the siege, they hosted 7,000 patients. The staff there, they really deserve the Nobel Peace Prize for their heroic work to defend the patients. And contrast this with the lies of the Israeli army. They have shown no proof of this massive military installation. It's actually a blatant lie. And they have shown just as little evidence when they have been bombing universities, schools, and the other hospitals. So I think it's important now to understand that these Israeli narratives shall serve the purpose of defending their case in the ICJ investigation, because they want to show that, oh, we warned, oh, we put out some leaflets, oh, we said they should flee. There is no safe place in Gaza. There is no water. There is no food. This is an all-out war against a people trying to survive, and they take the hospital.
I have another question for you on the medical staff and the latest that you know about the whereabouts and the well-being. That's not the right word, but how the medical staff at Al-Shifa are doing. Just before I get to that, another word of context on what you were saying, the Israeli providing proof. The Israelis, in their first assault on Al-Shifa, raid on Al-Shifa several months ago, had said this is the Hamas command and control center. And to your point, the world never got proof of that. Yes, there were some tunnels running through that area, as under many areas of Gaza. But a command and control center, the Israeli military did not demonstrate that that existed under Al-Shifa. Today, their argument for why they laid siege to Al-Shifa and laid waste to this entire medical complex was that hundreds of armed fighters were fighting there. Again, if the proof is there, you know, I think the world would like to see it. So to my question, medical staff, what do you know about the doctors, nurses, and other medical teams who were operating in Al-Shifa and helping these 100-plus patients?
Let me first just comment to your reasoning, and I totally agree. But if the goal was to fight down some 100 resistance fighters, Palestinians, why burn the hospital? Why burn this billion-value, incredibly important institution for the civilian population in Gaza?
Well, this has been their MO in northern Gaza since the beginning, which was in large part to level the northern part of the Strip.
So it has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with any military reasoning that we are going to fight down some fighters who are around Shifa. It's a blatant lie. They're doing it to destroy Palestine. That's the point. And what about the staff inside? Well, in this report from Dr. Marwan, he says that the staff are left in horrific conditions, already exhausted, and starting showing symptoms of fatigue and allergy. And if no solution is pursued as soon as possible, the place will turn into a graveyard of patients and staff if it's not already the case, unquote. So that's the sad news. We have heard nothing from the staff and the 107 patients, and I don't think the Israelis care. I mean, they've been killing 40,000 people now. They keep on killing. And when is this going to stop? Are they going to bomb Al-Aqsa Hospital also? Are they going to destroy 100% of the Palestinian healthcare? And who's next? If Israel is not stopped, what will happen to the healthcare in the West Bank? What will happen to the hospital in Tulkarem and Jenin, Augusta Victoria and Maqasad Hospital? Because Israel is on a rampage to reoccupy and take this land forever. And that's the colonial fascist politics.
Mads Gilbert, speaking to us from Norway, thank you for sharing that information that you had with us. We will follow up on the fate of these 107 patients who were in critical care, as well as the medical teams that were caring for them. We'll be speaking to our correspondent, reaching out to anyone we can to try and find out, now that the siege is over, what exactly is left in the building, who's left in the facility. Mads Gilbert, thank you very much.
Thank you.